Okay then, there's camera over there. Hello there.
Hello, I'm back.
I have to be here and you have to stand just a little bit closer, please. Can you see us? Can you hear us? I hope so. Okay, I'm just checking. 1, 2, 3. I hope everything works. At least it shows on my screen. It does that. Yeah. Hi there. My name is Jarek.
Yep, my name's Simon.
Welcome to Icon Studio. Welcome to our live stream from Masters of the Universe at Astra.
Master of Orion.
Oh! What I'm talking about, Master of Orion, obviously. Sorry, had no coffee yet. Although it's not the morning, but yeah. Camera is a bit high. Camera is a bit high. Only lower this a little bit. I don't want to destroy anything on my desk, so let's keep it like that for now. We'll try to do better next time. I've seen somebody mention about the music, that we should play music from Masters of Orion 2. I'm 100% on that one next time. We try to get some music downloaded from the video game, or we're gonna get from the wargaming.net. And that's that. Okay, so what are we gonna talk about today?
Well, the game, hopefully, but if you guys also have any questions, feel free to let us know in the comments, or in the live chat, and we'll answer them. Yep,
it's 1 hour dedicated for you to any type of questions whatsoever regarding the projects, regarding the Icon, and so on, so on. I think we're gonna go through the page as well, just to get everything sorted. You know, make sure that you guys know what you're pledging for and what is the offer. Yeah, I can actually switch the page. Is that better? Yep, that's the page. Right, starting within an hour. So the live stream is going to finish just before the start, I believe. One of the reasons is you can then join to
the Dice Tower, the live playthrough of the game.
Dice Tower will be doing the live playthrough. Today we have set up to show you, and that was that one here. This is the basic. This is set up for basic game. It's amount of content you're gonna get just in the basic game. As you can see here, is 4 players. There is 6 factions available. We have 2 more additional cards, and all those models belongs to those factions here. But in general, is a massive content. Well, fair content for 4X game type of yeah. So at least that's what we believe.
Yeah, it is a pretty big game, as pointed out in the chat. It does take up some space. There is a lot, and yeah, again, this is just a core box, so you can definitely expect a lot of replayability, lots of fun times.
Yeah, especially with expansions. Expansions give you additional factions, but not only that, expansions also add additional rules and kind of additional modes. Like we have a huge map mode now with the Antares expansion, which allows you to actually create even bigger map for 4 players. There was the requirement, some people require to actually have even bigger. So yeah, that's that. Does it require large table? I don't know if it's required actually large table, like a huge table to play on that one. I think the kitchen table should be enough. It is kind of enough. I mean, for those of you who play like 4X's game, that's, you know, size of the game, it's probably similar to what we have in Eclipse, or what you're gonna find in the Twilight Empire.
Twilight Imperium, yeah. Yeah, also keep in mind, these aren't all the components that will be on the table, just like a one-time. We just have everything on display, just so you can see how much stuff you're getting in the box.
Yeah, there's also a kind of player organizer we're thinking about. I mean, we received some samples of boxes. What we can do for this game, and we will have very interesting box. We say mobile box?
Yeah, well, there have been some questions about it in the chat already, actually, and also in the comment section on the page. Definitely, we are looking into various storage solutions, as we just said. We did receive an interesting sample, and would like to see if it's would be a possibility for this game.
Yeah,
because most of the game is being made in-house, but there are certain elements that do have to be outsourced, like the box, for example. We don't have a facility here to be able to make the actual box itself to store the game.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe in the future.
Everything is not maybe, for sure in the future.
Okay, for sure in the future.
It all depends. It all depends for the next few years how our plans will materialize. We are getting a new expansion here. This means company expansion for the new warehouse and manufacturing floor. There we plan to start manufacturing boxes, to make manufacturing cards for the card games and everything what is needed. And hopefully by end of 2026, maybe beginning of maybe mid 2027, we should be 100% self sufficient. We won't need anyone else to manufacture anything for us. So yeah, that is actually a big step. And having everything under control and quality of the product and timing is very, very important in this industry, especially when it comes to the board gaming. But I think we had a very good run for the last few years, at least with delivery times.
It depends on the break, but yeah, generally we do have a pretty good track record with specifically stuff manufactured in-house, which is why we want to move more stuff in-house.
Like Battleground, for instance, it's been shipped now, which is like 3 months before due date. So Battleground, Masters of the Universe, this time I got it right. Battleground actually been shipped like 3 months before, like most of the products we make in-house. This game here, actually the biggest, for the board games, the biggest bottleneck, it's usually miniatures. Not usually, it's always miniatures. The miniatures manufacturing, regardless where you're going to make and produce that, miniatures is the bottleneck. Here, actually these miniatures, every single one is made in-house in here by our machines. So we can guarantee the quality of minis, and then we can guarantee of timing on those components. The rest of the things is basically how we're going to pack everything, and to make sure that everything, all the other things ticks the boxes. Like for instance, whether there's a spot for the place for the cards for the sleeves, or how I'm going to storage my miniatures. Which we think we're going to have a box for the core game with shelves. So we're going to find is about 7 shelves, and then you store your miniatures in every single shelf. So something very, very innovative. I've seen 1 or 2 games like that in the past with the shelves. I want that, regardless of the cost, because it's going to be really, really premium. Yeah, so that's that. Should we go through some questions?
Yes, so Mr.
Which one?
asks,
hold on. Which one? Because I need to get it on the screen.
So the limit is 4 players. It's 4 players for the core game, but the GNN expansion and the Galactic Council expansion each adds 1 player to that limit. So you can go to 6 players.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the things we are definitely got in mind now. I mean,
yeah, we're definitely looking to add space for sleeved cards.
True. Heroes already got that made in mind with that. So every single game we basically will be done that way.
For Heroes, unfortunately, we didn't have space for premium card sleeves.
Yeah.
The maximum size of the card sleeves had to be about like 50 nanometers, I believe. But are we looking to expand that maybe in the future? Because premium card sleeves are very nice to have. On your cards.
Yeah, why not? We need to, whenever it goes to the project page, and when we have our black book, we should include all those things in there that we wanna aim at the premium card size or thickness, so that will allow us to actually store them with premium. I think we can plan for premium, but it doesn't matter what customer is going to use. If you're going to use the premium, then it's great. If something small, something thinner, it's still gonna work. Are you going to print the cards yourself? I think more than 50% of this game is going to be manufactured in Poland, in our warehouse, in our factory. I wish to have more. Definitely something with boxes, maybe expansion boxes. The core box we're going to have to outsource because we don't have this knowledge how to make the box yet with a shelf. So that's only one thing which we will have to outsource. In terms of cards, the card machine will be allocated here round about September, October next year, which means if we want to ship it early, this project wouldn't be able. Or if we're gonna ship on time, which is next year, next year, then we should be roughly be there with machine setting up and getting the cards done. But yeah, that's one of the first. It is the first machine we already going to buy it for the new place, and boxes and the cards will be the first one to do. And then because lots of the things we can outsource here in Poland, And the player boards, for instance, again, for Masters of the Universe Battleground, the player board itself is made in Polish company, which is just down the road here from here. And they have lots of experience and expertise in terms of making products for board games. So we can still use their services, and then in the future, in the next years, just to do it ourselves. So, but yeah, more than 50% is going to be made in-house. And I'm very, very happy with the miniatures, by the way, because the story is when we pitched this project for the first time to like manufacturers in China, they came back to us with a massive bill for tooling. It was like ridiculous and almost killed the project. I mean, tooling itself, if you just count the miniatures, because every single miniature is individual, like faction miniatures, right? So it's not like an Eclipse, or I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Eclipse has got only one type of minis, but then the color is different for the faction, right?
That's for TI.
Maybe in TI, but yeah, and we wanted to have each faction to have its own individual miniatures, and they came back with a massive amount just for tooling, and that was almost $300,000 for the tooling, $250 for the tooling, and about $50,000 additional dollars just to fix it. So imagine if you want to make the board game with 300 models or 400 miniatures, or similar to that one, this is the amount you're going to have to spend just for the tooling alone.
Didn't we also prepare the models for them for tooling?
We did. Yeah. It was everything, but still, they still require fixing on their side, which means they charge you additionally. They're a little bit tricky in terms of making production outside. Yeah, they will tell you like, look, this is the price, but you know, at the end of the day, they will overcharge you for many additional things, additional work, which wasn't there yet, even at the beginning of discussion. So. Yeah, but in general, it was kind of our decision, so that we have to find the process and make those miniatures in-house. And we managed to do that. So you get extremely high quality miniatures, like for such a game, because they're made out of normal miniatures material, which is for us is HIPS, high impact polystyrene. So detail is extremely good. They not bending, they
easy to paint,
and so on. So everything you will find it is like, you know, our typical material we use for miniatures. It's not PVC. Yeah. So, and once we changed that one, is actually this project became a reality, because otherwise we're gonna have to. That game wouldn't be looking like that. It would probably just tokens and maybe one type of miniatures just with colors. But I think it looks very good. Let's go through the questions.
Is there a mechanic in the game / expansion where Antarans attack the players randomly or something like that? Yeah, so in the Antarans expansion, there will be a solo / co-op mode available with the Antaran faction. As for how exactly that will look, I believe it will be similar to that, what you said, where they will attack randomly, but we're still working on that. So I do recommend asking the developers on BGG, on the forums though, for exact specifics, because I haven't playtested the mode myself, but I can also only assume that it's going to be great. So, Erland, after seeing Harm, this, and previous works of Archon, I've come to the conclusion that this company operates on finding neglected, beloved IPs and reanimating them in board game form. That is kind of true, yeah.
Kind of true.
For our future projects as well, probably, I think.
Well, yeah. Well, yes.
Especially that one. I think you know what
the one which we haven't yet announced. That's true. But the other thing is, you have to bear in mind that myself, I'm 40 something, and most of the games I used to play as a kid, which were Master of Orion, was mine thing. I love Master of Orion too. So that one of the reasons why we got this license is because I just was stubborn to actually get it. Doesn't matter the cost, doesn't matter what. I just want this game on the table. I just wanted to have it. So it just happened. And same happened with Heroes of Might and Magic, really, which wasn't my cup of tea, by the way. So I was always honest about this one. It was the team was very hype about it. So.
Yeah, it is a cult classic in Poland.
Yeah, it is.
Which is obviously where our company's based.
Thanks for your comment.
Don't make the inserts too wide though. I don't sleeve my cards and I don't want my cards to flop around the box too much. Yeah, that's also fine. There is also the option of making like the individual places for each card's like smaller.
Yeah.
So there's like the extra space if you need it, if you sleeve them. Yeah, again, we're just still looking into storage solutions, so we don't have exact details right now, but we will in the future.
Yeah. The question regarding secret objectives. 7 points for controlling Orion, in addition to all 3 instead of 5.
The points are in addition to controlling Orion. And if you actually watched our previous, our first gameplay on our YouTube channel, which was like with me, Sławek, Jacek, and Dave. Sławek actually controlled Orion and had the secret objective for Orion, and despite that, I think he ended the game with about how many points? Well, it wasn't a lot of points, even if he had the secret mission, because he had so much unrest from us just adding a whole bunch of unrest to his empire constantly with diplomacy actions.
Yeah, you have to balance the game. You have to balance the game when you play, so you cannot win with just one simple mission. You just have to make sure that everything else works in tandem.
Yeah,
I remember our game when we played. I was in the same position. I hold Orion, had the biggest fleet. Well, I don't know how you won. You won by having points from every single branch.
Yeah.
So this is from technology. This is from holding the planet. This is from the, and all in all, you had one point extra, more than I had. That you won at the game. So it was like, okay.
Yeah.
I learned very quickly that you have to not only go for the fleet, you just have to make sure you develop everything along the line. Diplomacy is important, controlling is important, holdings are important, and holding the Orion also, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, for most of that game, I was on one planet for most of it. I just got very lucky, because I was playing Cylons, and I cheated out a very strong card, using the Cylon Quanta special ability. You can cheat out tech cards that you usually wouldn't be able to have access to. And I just got a whole bunch of resources from diplomacy and trading.
Yeah. So the question is about the campaign. How do you track who made it in the first 500 based on the back number?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is based on the back number, but we have to wait till end of the campaign because obviously some people will cancel, some people will join. So and that number will be known at the end of the campaign. So. It's gonna all depend how the middle of the campaign goes and end of the campaign goes. For some of you who are gonna be close to 500, yeah. But
you offer washed ships. It looks a lot better than normal color, and I'd pay a bit more for that. So unfortunately, we're not going to be offering any pre-shaded or washed ships. We do have a pre-painted technology, but these ships aren't made with this technology in mind. Basically, we would paint over the top layer, but there are some angles where the machine couldn't reach everything, and because of that, we're not going to be using it for this project. And also, we have a limited amount of machines, and we have a whole bunch of other projects that we're using them for. So yeah, it's unfortunately out of the question.
Pre-painting, I wanted to have. I've got a sample somewhere. Got a sprue sample to show you. Maybe I'll try to locate it just in a sec. But we did try to pre-paint.
Just as an example of what the pre-painted technology looks like. Maybe if you want to change the camera.
Change the faces. Hello.
Yeah. So for example, here we have a pre-painted sprue. This is this terrain is Belly of the Beast. I think more of the Abyss. This is like an example of the level of detail we can achieve with the pre-painted stuff. But unfortunately, we're not using this technology for the ships.
Yeah, the example exactly. So no for the ships yet. Not, I'm saying yet. Maybe at some point in the future, but at the moment, no, because of capacity in the machines and everything else doesn't allow us to do that.
TI with expansion is up to 8 players, and we have finished that more than once. I'm assuming that is a reply to someone else, yeah?
Oh, sorry, yeah. It was a reply.
Any future plans for up to 8 players? I think 8 players would be a bit much. I mean, you could probably... this game actually scales very well with increased, with different amounts of player numbers. So you could probably do one with in-house rules, or house rules, sorry. But I don't think we're planning to support 8 players. At least not with this campaign. Maybe in the future, but no plans at the moment.
Yep. When you start with the paper side of things, would you be able to make fancy cards like foiled, textured cards? Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. We're gonna start with the cards like we have for the Masters of the Universe, which are the plain, and then gradually the experience will grow. I have a great 2 people who used to work in a massive company in Poland, that makes a lot of paper content and board games with no miniatures, basically the kids board games, and they are now consultants and they're happy to share the knowledge and so on and so on. Also, I'm going to make CNC board game, Command and Conquer. I wish, but EA is not keen on the licensing almost anything, basically anything. I did try to go for a lot of, they have a big portfolio of games, and no, they're not interested in licensing anything at this stage.
It's a shame.
It is. I mean, they did like Mass Effect just recently, right?
Oh yeah, they did.
It was interesting results.
It was a retail release, wasn't it?
Yes, just a retail release.
I would love to see a Plants vs Zombies board game, like a finished one, because the last one I think was scrapped, unfortunately.
Oh, was it?
I'd love to see one personally. The game I definitely grew up playing. The token to show the units is used, a ring with a hole to put.
So this is for the buildings, basically. So
I think
on a page.
I think he's referring to the units actually, to show that a ship has been used. We actually have a token for that already. It's a token with a circle and well, it's like, kind of like a stop sign, to show that the unit is exhausted, meaning that it's already attacked and it's used its attack for this turn and can't move. But with the buildings with the circles underneath them, this was a recent addition, just to show you what resource the building produces. But we are still looking into how to make this more usable for people that have color blindness. We're still looking into different solutions, possibly adding the symbol onto somewhere. Onto the.
There is one idea which which Michał is actually looking into. It's basically to have a small element here, like a small, I don't know, I would call it ear. Let's call it ear. And then on then you have like a symbol and then +1 or either +2, because depending on the building it does different, right? But we needed to differentiate them between each other, because otherwise you will have to just keep checking which building does what. In this case, that everything about the food is green, but everything about the factory is orange and blue and then yellow. These does not require anything because they self-explanatory, especially the victory points buildings and the spy center. But that was the recent change. We tried like different colors. I mean, I can show you that.
Honestly, my OCD is going off. I think we need circles under them as well.
Circles where?
Under the spy centers and the point buildings.
Could be.
Maybe that's just me, but I don't know.
We're gonna look into that anyway. But we did try with different colors to make them in different colors, and you know what? It wasn't working, because when we put them on a table, we paint them. We put them on a table, and they were not looking. You could get confused with what you have already on the table with ships and factions and everything else. So they have to stay gray, and the ring will do the job. Yeah. Let's go here.
This is actually a question for Home 3. I have a question regarding the Hero Time. Can we expect expansions/campaigns related to Heroes Chronicles? Probably not in the current campaign, but it's a possibility for the future, definitely.
Yeah. Just like I hope you will break some records. Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to answer that quickly?
Yeah. Is the unannounced Heroes of Might and Magic project a new game or more add-ons to the current game? Also, will the Heroes Wargame have a campaign and solo play? Yeah, so the unannounced project, it is an entirely new game. It's a completely separate game.
Something new and fresh.
Yeah, something new and fresh. And the Wargame, I don't see why it wouldn't feature a campaign, right?
The wargame itself, campaign needs to feature a campaign.
Yeah,
it's kind of necessary to learn the game. To
as for solo play, I'm not sure.
No, wargame solo play, no. Impossible. Kind of impossible. I mean, you could play... No, it's too complex to actually have it. I mean, wargame per se, it's got very, very complex rules. It's quite difficult to play solo. You could, if you have like, one dedicated monster to be eliminated, something like that, and put some AI deck in there. But normally, no.
Honestly, I'm kind of glad there's like a newcomer to like the wargame classic fantasy scene, because I feel like there really isn't that much. Like honestly, apart from Warhammer Old World, I don't think there's a single like normal classic fantasy wargame. that I can think of. A lot of them, a lot of the different war games, they have like their own unique spins on top of it. And I don't know. I was just kind of thinking like, I think there's definitely a lot of potential there, and especially since it's on the Heroes IP. There's like a lot of iconic stuff as well in there.
Yeah, it is lots of iconic. But then I had many comments about this is a very generic universe, which kind of agree and also disagree in the same time, because the heroes makes a big difference. Okay, how many stretch goals you prepared? How many stretch goals did you prepared? 60, 70?
Yeah.
It's gonna be about that. So it's quite a lot of stretch goals there. And most of the stretch goals is basically either quality improvement or additional tech cards. So just to give you a lot of...
There's a couple cool stuff in there, like unique mechanics.
True, true.
But yeah, you can look forward to that.
But I want to go through the page also. So just to remind everybody who just joined us to the stream that where we're gonna go, follow. If you haven't followed the projects, please follow the projects, because there's a follow gift.
Yeah, the follow gift is a
there is
dice tray. There is, yeah. Forgot the word.
It's a dice tray with Orion logo on it and cover art. Now this is interesting. So that was proposed by wargaming.net. Actually, they said they can give us 500 CD keys to Master of Orion Conquer the Stars. So first 500 we're gonna get it. Obviously you're gonna get it at the end of the campaign, because we have to make sure the campaign is finished and finalized, and then we know exactly the number of who is within that 500 backers. You can check the game on Steam here. You can go and have a look. We do have a returning backer gift, by the way. So this goes to returning backer gift, set of dice just for this game. So if you back any projects whatsoever, it doesn't have to be board game. Any type of the projects from last year's, actually from the beginning. So
yeah, from us.
From us, you'll be entitled to these additional dice. And
yeah, and if you did back these projects, the dice will still be available in the add-on section.
Yeah. There's one condition: you need to make sure that you use the same email address at your account here on the GameFound that you use on the Kickstarter or Pledge Managers with us. So you have to make sure, because the only one way for us to check it is basically by looking and comparing emails.
And if you're not sure if you're a returning backer, you can go to the comments section and just type test or something similar, and you can see if you have the prior backer tag. And if you do, then you have backed a project from us previously, and you will be entitled to the dice.
You can show that one, I think. Do we have prior backers here commented?
Yeah, I'm right there.
Oh, did you back our project? Probably as a test.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the tag, so you can see that the tag is there. Yeah. All right then, what else? Let's go through. Let's go to the page. When I did, yeah, okay. So that's that. Well, hold on a second. Did I jump over quickly? Did jump over? Did I? Yeah, we were here. So that's dice. The cool game, obviously 5 languages. We don't plan to increase languages, by the way. So if you're going to ask for any other languages that we have here, this is the maximum languages we can manufacture, we can make. Yeah, and it will going to stay like that, at least for retail release. If there is demand for retail release to make this game in other languages, we will do it. Delivery date, it says coming Q1 20. This is the start date, so we're gonna have to update this graphic because this is like now, starting now. So this is like pre-page yet.
Yep.
Page will change.
Sure, yeah, the page will automatically change.
Yeah, page will change.
Goes live.
Exactly. Page will change. So this is not the latest version of the page, by the way. You all know those things. Why to back it? I mean, you have stretch pay. I think I love stretch pay. So this is kind of the best feature of GameFound, and I think the best feature in a crowdfunding ever, because it gives you a power of making sure that there's a pressure put on creators, and making sure that if the creators, I don't know, if for some reason stop doing it on the updates and you're gonna get worried that something is going on, you can just basically cancel your stretch pay and then lose only the portion if something goes wrong. But I think this is a big feature in my opinion, which I really love it. Shame Kickstarter is not doing it well. Okay.
They have tried doing something similar, but
just recently.
Not just recently, but as always with Kickstarter, it's often too little, too late. That they are a bit behind on features.
Firstly line, that's true. You're gonna get game before anyone else. That's true. Exclusive awards. We do have some Kickstarter exclusive awards, I think, in the stretch goals.
In the stretch goals, yes, but as always, any exclusives will be available during trade shows, either at the event or through our website.
Yeah. Smart saving, that's correct. I mean, MSRP will be much different, and much different than you find in a store. I mean, you can go there to pledges to see the value. Some information about the first time on GameFound. I mean, we noticed there's lots of new people who never backed projects, so that's very, I think, important to have that one, to have some explanation how everything works on the GameFound. And that's the core game, right? Typical stuff. Right. And then short explanation how the game plays. So create your universe, choose the empire, actually choose your faction if you don't want to be imperator, and then action play actions, and draw your cards, play actions, and so on, so on, so on. I like that. I like this animation. They look cool. Right, what else? Rulebook. If you want to have a good look on the rulebook, by the way, you have to bear in mind this rulebook is still in beta. We're still working on it, and there's gonna be small changes there, here and there, and clarifications, but we still have about 6 to 8 months to clarify everything in that book, and some of the things might change, It's gonna be down to more tests once we conduct more tests. So. But I would say 95% of that rulebook is done. Then the other thing is you can always join to Tabletop Simulator. You played through Tabletop Simulator?
I haven't played the Tabletop Simulator version myself. No, I've just mainly done tests for the board game version.
Yeah. Right, and we are in the section of the core game. Let's check if we have any type of questions here we can quickly answer.
Oh, never mind. I think the expansions add more races. Can't you just make custom rules? That's in response to another question.
To another question,
but yes,
probably.
That is true. The expansions do add more races. The Antaran Revenge expansion also adds the ability to create custom races as well.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that. Thanks for being so patient at PAX Unplugged. I've pointed out this launch to others, but I'm hoping they don't push me out of the first 500. Well, you're here, so you should be in the first 500.
Yeah, we're just starting in like 28 minutes, 27 minutes. I don't know.
What is the size of the dice going to be, and will each faction get their own dice? Looking forward to the multi-battleground dice. So the dice, I believe
it's 16 millimeters. The typical standard normal D6 dice. So you're not going to any smaller. We did try a long time ago to like 12 millimeter dice. I love 12 millimeter dice. Maybe because I've played so many Warhammer 40k, and I needed a bucket of dice to roll. So they're easy to hold, but it's very difficult on them to have any logo. So we need to go for normal standard size of dice, D6 dice. I hope you'll be surprised. You will surprise me at the end of campaign with a cool player organizer. I want to have a mock-up to show you during campaign, because it's kind of a unique solution we are thinking about. So, and very premium and good looking.
After his good presentation on YouTube, BoardGameCo also spoke negatively of the rulebook. Do you think you'll take this into account? So again, the reviewers received a Google document, which was not proofread. Yeah. There was no technical writing, but the current rulebook, it's already out, available. The reviewers that reviewed the game at the time didn't have access to this specific rulebook. Yeah. But so I do encourage you to check through the rulebook, have a look through the rules, maybe learn the game, and try it out on Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
And I think the rulebook should speak for itself.
We
the updated quality of it, of course.
I've seen some emails, at least the screenshot of the emails from Polish YouTubers when they really praised the quality of the rulebook. For those ones, we actually reviewed the game before the rulebook was available, like with the Google document, and they say they were very surprised about the quality of the rulebook. So please download it and have a look for yourself. Yeah,
it was a prototype Google document. It wasn't a proper rulebook.
Exactly. Because that's what it is with this type of games. When you design them, it's a long process to get a rulebook done. We need to make sure after all the play test and everything else is clear, and then the rulebook needs to go through technical writing. So the technical writer actually is going to get rulebook and put in a correct order. So something what was missing with Heroes, what we learned on Heroes, that the technical writer wasn't there. The reason why? Because we had no time. It was the project needed to go out ASAP, so that step was kept on the kind of kept on the Heroes. But here is different story. So here we have a little bit more time on design development. So we decided we will do this rulebook and then again another pass through the technical writer just to make sure everything is placed and allocated correctly. The current rulebook is already in good shape. I tried playing a bit on the TTS and it works well for looking things up during play. Thank you. Okay, so core game. 3 rulebooks, rules, campaign, and I think AI? Autonoma? I think so.
The Automata.
Yeah. So this is the content you will find in a core game. That's including 283 models, 62 dice, 80 tiles, 272 tokens. So quite a lot of content, and you will find all the races here. We haven't done much like explaining what race each of them does good. Like Darlogs are spies. So...
No, I explained it in the updates.
You did explain? Okay.
Yeah, I explained every faction in the core game. So you can head over to the updates. Each update focuses on one faction and one aspect of the game specifically. So yeah, if you're interested, then I recommend reading from the first update.
That would be actually, yeah, that's good. That's right. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, you should read the updates.
I did, but my brain is I'm 40 years old. Come on, I'm just losing. I'm losing brain cells a lot in the alarming speed. So yeah. Anyway, first expansion, so it's a galactic news network, and this expansion is not only additional factions, I believe. Yeah, you get like 3 additional factions, so content for miniatures, models, everything for 3 additional factions. But additionally, there is GNN events and then admirals and governors. That's new mechanics in the game. So expansion is not only going to give you just pure more factions to play with and more variety and more diversity. You're also going to get additional game mechanics. You want to talk about the GNN networks?
Honestly, the only expansion I've played with is the Galactic Council one, which is the next one. I haven't actually played that much with the GNN events and admirals and governors. So again, that's more of a question for the developers on Board Game Geek.
Then we have a Galactic Council. Played with the Galactic Council. I remember that one. It's a huge fun. And here, actually, when the game a little bit shine more, because really you can focus on winning the game not through combat, but pure by diplomacy.
Yep, that's how I won that game against you, in part because of the Galactic Council.
I remember that.
I was just sitting on one planet for most of the game. I got my second planet, I think, in the last round, because my early game expansion was just well, I got a bit unlucky.
Yeah, we need to play another game.
Yeah,
I need revenge. I told you I need revenge. Last time on the when you guys played, I couldn't because the business as always, busy, and I couldn't play. But maybe some weekend we will jump here and play.
We need to organize another game. It would be fun.
Yeah,
maybe with 6 players.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Order some peace sign. Let's go through entire day.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what you find in the Galactic Council. So 3 factions, additional modes. Minor civilizations, this is basically events. So when you go and discover the planets, you draw the cards, and then on some of the cards you will find minor civilizations. You can work with them, you can eliminate them, if I remember. At least the version of the gameplay, there was option for that. But it's better to actually keep them under control. They give you some perks, additional bonuses and perks. So lucky it was in the Masters of Orion. And then we have the Antaren's Revenge expansion. This one is kind of smaller, but equal in a oomph. So it's just one faction in a box. But you get more tiles for Huge Galaxy mode. The Huge Galaxy mode is basically additional tile for each player. There was a requirement, we've seen it requirement, some people really wanted to go for much bigger game, even bigger as it is now. So we will allow that, and then there's some additional rules for that. Antaren's Revenge mode, obviously Antaren's, and then we have a custom factions. And I'm looking really forward to custom factions. My every single game of Masters of Orion was actually custom faction. I always play custom faction. I always made them like really weak at everything except no food and except the population. So they needed to multiply as fast as possible and then colonize the galaxy, and then through mass we won. That's that. Do we have any additional consultants, by the way? I don't know if you have seen it, who we had on board, and we still have on board, is Jason. I think Jason is gonna be playing the game with...
Yeah, he's gonna be playing together with the Dice Tower on the live playthrough in approximately 20 minutes. They go live. So yeah, after this live stream, I definitely recommend checking them out. Just Dice Tower, the Dice Tower YouTube. And yeah.
Michael used to work for video game, for Conquest the Start. He was actually working for the wargaming.net. So I think Michał managed to get in touch with him. Something, I don't know what the full story is, how we met them, but they were just on board from day one, really from day one to work on this game. And there's a nice photo of him when he gathered original creators of Masters of Orion when they played I think it's one of the blokes, or maybe it will be it's one of the updates, when they played our game, and the feedback was absolutely great. I mean, this is the best level of feedback to really impress original creators of Masters of Orion, because they said we translated very well the core idea of Masters of Orion on the board game. So which is the most important key here. On top of that, it's a very good game. I know. Yeah. I can sign it. I can clearly sign it, even my name and surname on it. Chris, you can read here. He was director of production vision on the Master of Orion Conquest the Stars. And Jeff, yeah, that's Jeff from original Masters of Orion 1993. And then Lee actually wrote a good book. There's a good book which wasn't released from Masters of Orion universe. I don't know if you know. So he knows very well setting. He knows very well the fluff of Masters of Orion. So yeah, at some point this book will be out. We need to find a way of actually getting it. Pledges. So all that goodies, everything you find in there, 199, 119.
That's
sorry,
for that's for the core game.
That's for the core game and stretch goals. So everything you will find in an additional box, which is stretch goal box. Stretch pay, about $20 every single stretch pay times 6, which yeah equates to that one. Well, yeah. Galactic Explorer.
Yep, and this is you get to choose any one of the expansions we have for offer.
That saving is real. I think it's gonna be a little more saving because depending on what
it's compared to the MSRP prices.
Yeah, comparing to MSRP prices, exactly. So it's heavily discounted anyway. Arsica. Here we can choose 2 expansions. So this is the best one if somebody wants to play like 6 players, right?
Yeah, if you just want to play with 6 players, then you can get the GNN expansion and the Galactic Council expansion, and you'll be able to play with 6 people.
Yeah. And 199 is all new.
Yeah, this is the all-in. Yeah, like the whole whole shebang, including the custom races, the Antaron's range expansion, unique co-op/solo mode.
This is like everything you need to play this game forever, and you're not gonna get bored.
Honestly, I am personally very happy with the core game. I don't think you need the expansions to enjoy the game, definitely, but I do think they will add a lot.
There's this is like for the starters, for X starters, and this is what we have for people who want more from the game itself, yeah, per se. But the additional content in terms of races is very, very interesting because that's more variety. You can choose more from more, which is very important, I think. Because when you play like 6, 7, 8 games and you have only 6 factions, you're gonna go through every single one. You need more, and then you can have like 3, 6 more factions. So that will give you much more play. That's that. But those additional modes, I think the diplomacy in a current form, it's great because you can do all those things in diplomacy. But with the form of Galactic Council, it's even bigger because you have those edicts you can vote for or cancel some edicts, which basically you may think you won the game counting the points, and all of a sudden a turn before, 2 turns before, somebody put some votes on some edicts which stop you from attacking, or if you're going to start any type of war, you're gonna take additional you're gonna lose additional victory points. So you have to be careful, and yeah, it's very cool. And I like the edicts for other reason also. If the players are clever enough, and if they see that some of the players actually winning, like heavily winning, through the edicts, we can kind of leverage that, because we don't have to fight with you, we don't have to conquer your stars, just make you to lose some victory points for XYZ reason through the edicts. So this is very, very cool thing, and I haven't found anything like that in the games I played before.
I do have some games that have tried it, but yeah, I do generally really like how diplomacy works. It's very fluid. You're very rarely teaming up with one person from the beginning of the game to end, just simply because in part of how diplomats work, and different people want different things. Kind of like the real world when it comes to, how different companies interact with each other. Sorry, how different countries interact with each other.
Yeah.
In the real world, it's very similar to that. It's not always a zero-sum game. Sometimes you can just get more by working together.
So good question here. You can read it out.
Yeah. What is going to be shown on the game plan page? Will these same components we will receive there, or there's going to be some changes to cards or miniatures? Well, when it comes to components, a large portion of the game is already complete. So all the miniatures have already been sculpted, as you can see as well on the campaign page.
That is correct.
And
the only one thing I need to mention, what you have received here, what you have seen it, what you have seen it on YouTube channels, is basically a prototype. So prototype is made in-house, still in-house, but we don't use any high-grade materials for that one. We not, because it would be too expensive to actually manufacture it that way. When it comes to manufacturing, what you're going to get is much better quality cards, much better quality tiles. Okay, at the moment, even if you look on the screen a little bit shiny, they won't be shiny. So we will have everything there once the manufacturing starts with the best materials possibly we can get.
Yeah, except for the miniatures, because the miniatures already.
Miniatures, except the miniatures,
obviously. The miniatures are already final. They're made with high quality.
Not really final. Not really final, because we need to make a lot of improvements. We need to make a lot of improvements. I mean, one of the YouTuber pointed out that some of the miniatures were breaking here on top of it, so you can actually snap it. Now we improved that one. We basically added like additional. We cut the tools additionally, to increase the holding, so there's no way that anything is going to break. So that's good. That was changed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm referring to now that the campaign's going live. Yeah. There shouldn't be any major changes to miniatures, if that's the question.
Yeah.
The tools are already made in-house, of course, because we are making the miniatures here. So there won't be any major changes there. As for cards, I don't think we're looking at bigger changes, because again, a lot of the components they've already gone through approval. But yeah, as for quality, of course, quality can always be improved. But as for the general look, there won't be any major changes.
Are you working on a single box to hold the expansions? At this stage, no. However, we can talk about that one once we have a pledge manager opened, and then we can do some survey to see how many people are gonna be interested in actually one big big box.
I think big boxes are problematic for logistics.
It is not nightmare, but it's not for backers, for customers. They're expecting something like that. They're expecting something like that to be available, especially after Heroes. We will think about this one. I'm not promising anything. Definitely, we're gonna see what we can do. Any plans for neoprene mats? I don't know. No, not for this. Not for this project. It's not necessary. It's not required. I agree on that. The custom races were a fun mechanic in order to figure out ways to cheese the game. Yep. That's the one idea question. Could you launch some videos about how to paint the miniatures? Well, we have one.
We have a showcase of the painted miniatures, but we haven't released videos on how to actually paint them.
Yeah.
It's something we can definitely consider, though.
Yeah. We will. I want actually videos on that. I mean, we'll have a chat with Dave to just create more videos, just to paint all the miniatures, and you will see how easy it is to paint them. And then on top of that, you will see the quality of minis. Yep. Well, they already answered this one. They already. Oh, geez, there's some more questions. Yeah. So that's the good question.
What games have you pulled the most inspiration from when designing Master Orion? What about this game do you think sets it apart from other Space 4X titles in the board gaming space?
So I'm going to answer the first section of it. You're not gonna take the second one. So definitely Masters of Orion 2. We wanted Masters of Orion 2. Now graphically needed to be very close, including the logo. We needed to be very close to the latest game, released by the wargaming.net. But there's a lots of things you will find from Masters of Orion 2, especially have a look on the heroes. Have a look on the names, have a look on that. So that was the main inspiration there. I remember the first logo we designed, which was so beautiful. It was basically, if you remember Master of Orion logo from Master of Orion 2, it's a green tinted, so it's like a green logo. So we combined the latest logo with the green tinted from Master of Orion 2. It was so amazing, but unfortunately we needed to go with the official Master of Orion logo on that one. So yeah, lots of inspiration from there.
Yeah, but as for what sets it apart from other Space 4X titles, well, there's definitely more of a focus on exploration and economical development, and also diplomacy. I feel like these features can sometimes be kind of an afterthought in certain games, in certain 4X space titles. Sometimes they're not even present at all. But yeah, I think that's definitely what sets it apart.
Yeah. We put to list before we actually did like any designing. Before Jacek was actually designing game, and on the first couple of meetings, we were, the concept which was there was missing several things. I think diplomacy was missing. I was pushing very strongly on diplomacy. I wanted to have it because it's part, extremely important feature in a 4X game. Without it, it's just like kind of dull. I mean, at the end of the day, you may play peacefully. Nobody needs to start any wars.
But without diplomacy, everyone's just playing their own game without much interaction.
Yeah. And then the other aspect in the game I really wanted was the spies. Spies in Masters of Orion 2 was a key factor to win. You can do a lot of things with spies, same with this board game. So spying, is that the feature in other games? I don't think so, I haven't seen it. But here you have a diplomats and you have a spies, and you can really mess up with opponent vision of his turn if you're going to place a spy in the correct way and the correct time. So that's difference. That's a big difference in comparing to other games.
I have definitely had a couple of my games ruined by spies.
Yeah, obviously. But I think also fleet, because we have that unique ways of actually scrapping the fleet when you just receive half of the, well, not half, but X amount of resources back whenever the fleet get destroyed. So it's not like I'm gonna go to combat, I'm gonna lose everything. You're not gonna lose everything. Some portion of your fleet will be back with you, at least in the resources. You can rebuild it. So that's very important when there is more than 2 players in a game, right? So it's a matter of 4X's game. If somebody starts the war, that's it. It's a game over for him, because you won't be you won't have a chance to rebuild it. Here, you can very quickly rebuild your fleet and then still defend yourself from any other third opponent attacking you.
I think another thing, a big positive is that despite the fact that there is some randomness in the game, it definitely doesn't decide the game. What decides the game is definitely skill and strategy. So, for example, in Eclipse, exploration can have very, very significant effects on how the game goes, where someone can just discover some like crazy stuff and they just basically win the game from there.
Yeah.
And there's not too much you can do about that. In this game, it's definitely not the deciding factor. Like, it can really help your game if you discover like the perfect systems to colonize, but it's not gonna like outright decide the game just from there. There's a lot of stuff that can change in the last 2 rounds of the game. Specifically in the last round, like the points can just go crazy from like player to player in that last round.
Yeah. Right.
Is the Galactic Council expansion playable / balanced for 2 players? I don't see why not.
Yeah, it is.
I'd say it's perfectly playable for 2 players. Most of this game is actually playable for 2 players. Shelf said as much so in his review that a lot of 4X games usually don't really play as well for 2 players, but this game plays surprisingly well. It scales very well with the amount of players, with how the actions work.
Right.
Are you planning for more content in the future, or is this IP finished after this campaign? It's a good question. There is kind of a hard limit on how much stuff we can release for this IP, but you know, we would obviously like to release more stuff if it goes well.
So, do we plan to do? I mean, at the moment, this campaign was scheduled just to be a 1 campaign, so no follow-up campaign with additional expansions. But during the progress, we did ask the question to wargaming.net if they're okay if we're going to be in the future, maybe just to keep the game in retail for longer than 3 years, to have like additional content in terms of new factions, like new factions, which were not available through Orion universe, and they were completely okay with that. And they said, well, look, you can just work on other factions, just send this to us, and we're gonna get a kind of approval. So. Yeah, maybe in the future we will see how the game goes. I'm really counting on retail because this is a very good game. So, and it deserves to be on every single 4X board gamer collection in the collection. So, and I hope we're gonna manage that. But yeah, to keep the game running in the future, definitely we need to think about additional factions. Maybe some small expansions with factions. Maybe something new will come up. Maybe a new video game will be out there at some point, and then we will have some things to use from that video game as well.
I'm hoping we hit the top 100 games on BGG with this, honestly. I think it has potential.
It's got the potential, that's for sure, yes. So we really believe in this game. Like, mechanically, as a game itself, as a fun, as an entertainment, it's definitely there.
I do think this is mechanically the best board game we've made in ever in the history of this company, personally.
Well, now the challenge the bar is quite high. Every single game needs to be better and better.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're gonna finish the stream now. We're just going to finish because the campaign is about to start, and then
there was a question from someone.
Oh, yes. Which one?
Just a bit down. How do you pledge when the campaign opens? Do we refresh the page? Yes. You just refresh the page and you'll be able to pledge right there. Just scroll down to the pledges that are listed. Just pick one, add it to your cart, say you're paying for it, and then yeah, that's it basically.
That's it. Yeah. Okay, so it's about 2 minutes to start the well, a minute and a half, 1 minute, and we encourage you to go on the Dice Tower channel on the live cast from this game, and they're just starting at 4 o'clock, so literally in 1 minute. Thank you for joining us for that hour. There's gonna be one more live stream. I'm back on Thursday, by the way. This is our standard AMA on Thursday, so in 2 days time you're gonna see my mug again, and then halfway through campaign we will do another one, just a snapshot and see and answer your questions and so on.
I'll just quickly answer one more question.
Yes.
For the solo mode, So I don't think it was, guys. I don't think it was covered. Can you unveil a bit about the single player mode? Yeah. So it's not currently in the rules for the beta rulebook, but it will be very, very soon. We're still working on some things on it, and once it's ready, it's going to be available on the TTS version.
Needs to be fully polished before we're gonna go out of it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you're gonna like the game, and see you in just a couple of days.
Yeah, and click the link in the chat to join the Dice Towers live stream of their live play.
Okie dokie. Oh, just started. Great.
Yep.
Okie dokie. See ya.